Hello everyone, happy whatever today is, Friday. It is Friday, right? Friday. Happy Friday. And so I think it's going to be a pretty short video, partially because I need to get my Budwig formula in before 5, and partially because I don't have that much to say today. Also, I'm going to try really hard not to cry on the video today. The first thing I wanted to update you on is that my pathologist called yesterday right before our Valentine's Day date and let me know that he had subtyped my Hodgkin's, which means like there's Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's, and then hey Carmelie, hey Stacy, there's like subtypes of Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's. So there's like 5 known types, hey Kristen, of Hodgkin's. And so he was so funny. If you watched my video the other day, he was like, he called me, he told me it was Hodgkin's, and then he's like, I haven't subtyped it yet. I need to think about it. Like the way he said it made me really laugh. I have to think about it. So anyway, he called me yesterday before our date, and he said that it's nodular sclerosis. So if any of you are Googlers, you will Google that and find out that it's the most common form of Hodgkin's. But speaking of common and not common, kind of the whole situation is funny because to say that it's the most common form of Hodgkin's in itself is funny because Hodgkin's is less than 1% of anyone that gets cancer gets Hodgkin's, so it's already like a really rare form of cancer. And then I was talking to the next specialist the other day when he said that he was going to refer me to a local oncologist, and he was like, you know, we talk about how people like cause cancer in themselves. They smoke, they drink, they're not healthy, all these kinds of things. He's like, you are so rare because you're so healthy. And I was like, I'm like super rare. First of all, I get a cancer that like less than 1% of people that get cancer have, and then I'm also super healthy, so I'm like super awesome. And I said something about the 1% to my girlfriend the other day. She's like, oh, that totally makes sense. That makes sense to me, because she's like, nothing about this is normal. So anyways, it's like you just have to find the humor in it all. So nodular sclerosis, if any of you guys are Googling what that is, it's the most common form. They'll also say it's the most treatable form. But that was one of the things I was going to talk about today, is like I'm really, I am still wrestling with this concept. Doing what I do and just loving nutrition, having used it for so many healing opportunities in my body, and then using it for so many healing opportunities with my clients, it's a very, very difficult thing for me to come to the conclusion that I can't heal this 100% through food. And I know that, you know, there are so many examples of people that have, but like I said it before, hi Patricia, hi Brianna, even like the most alternative, integrative, functional medicine minded people are saying that the conventional treatment is the way to go for this specific cancer. So I was talking to Patrick about it last night, and I was like, you know, I think I'm still wrestling with it. I'm not saying that I'm at peace with it yet, but I was talking to him about it, and I was like, you know, I say to my clients very often, actually, when we go through our protocols, because we'll work on a lot of gut stuff, and so we'll run stool tests where we're screening for parasites, bacteria, yeast, fungi, all these different things. And we'll talk about nutrition because nutrition supports the process. And this is what I tell my clients, and I'm like, why can't I like convince myself of this? And I tell my clients, look, nutrition is 100% going to prepare you, it's 100% going to help you through the process, and it's 100% going to help you maintain your health after we go through this. But sometimes you're going to get bugs that just changing your diet is not going to necessarily get rid of them, and they're still going to cause all these symptoms. So we do have to go in with this targeted herbal therapy, and we got to knock those suckers out, and then let's support and build up your body with the nutrition, and let's prevent this from happening again with the nutrition. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, I tell my clients this all the time about bacteria and stuff in their gut, but it's so hard for me to like internalize that same exact concept for blending conventional treatments for cancer. I don't know. It's hard, guys. I'm really struggling with it. And I think that's where I'm coming to, is that it's like that extra piece that has to come in. My nutrition and my health journey in the past couple years has prepared me. It's made my body as healthy as it possibly can be. It's going to assist me through the journey, and it's going to be like what maintains my health in the future. But there has to be some targeted therapy that comes in to assist this process and knock it out of my body. So I'm trying to just wrap my head around that. I think it's just, there's a lot going on right now mentally. You know, I looked up the stages of grief, actually, because I was like, gosh, I'm crying all the time. I can't figure out why I'm crying all the time. And I'm not a crier, like hardly ever. And I was driving to my networking meeting this morning, and I was crying on the way there, and I could barely hold it together. And right before I went to bed last night, I had an awesome day, great day. We had a fun dinner, it was wonderful. And then right like in that transition to going to sleep, I was holding back tears. And so it just like comes at the most random times. And so I looked up the stages of grief, and it's like number 4. I'm like, where'd the other ones go? I just hopped right to number 4. So that's like, you know, overwhelm and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm still kind of working through that, and maybe I'll hop back a couple, I don't know. But I think the weirdest thing for me is just how it hits me out of nowhere. I'm totally fine, or I'm driving somewhere, or I just had a great conversation with somebody, and then all of a sudden I start crying. So it's a really bizarre coping thing. It almost feels like one of my clients today said it's like your body's releasing toxins almost. Like it is. It's like your body almost has like this emotional toxicity coping mechanism where it like has to force it out, and that's your part of processing it. And it just is just a weird thing to go through. But anyway, so we were at dinner last night, and I just kind of wanted to share this story because I just think it's really cool. God just like, there's so many things throughout this process where I just see God's hand in the whole thing. It's like he was planning it, and it was the perfect timing. And like I said, like, had I not gone through everything I went through, hey Kathy, hey Jen, if I had not gone through everything in the past several years, I would not be as healthy as I am, which means I would not be mentally, emotionally, or physically prepared to go through this process. And so it was like, yeah, this has been in you for several years, but God knew that you weren't ready to discover it, you weren't ready to face it, you weren't ready to treat it, it wasn't the time for you. And so he's like, hey, let me give her this other health issue so that she can go on this journey, get as healthy as possible, and then I'm going to let her know that she has this, and this is the plan. And so last night we were talking at dinner, and I was like, you know, I'm really struggling with my faith. Not faith in God, not faith that there's some bigger plan, not faith in my belief or anything like that. The words I just used there are going to get confusing the more I explain this, but let me try to explain it this way. So we were talking at dinner about, I was trying to explain why it feels weird to me, because I'm like, if I believe what the Gospels say about Jesus being able to physically heal people, right? He literally touched them, or they touched his garment or whatever, and all these crazy things went away. They were able to see, they were able to speak, they were able to walk, their arms were healed, leprosy went away, all this nutso stuff. And I believe that. I believe that that happened. And so I was talking about, like, if Jesus was in the room, like physically in the room right now, right next to me, here's what's weird about it. It's not that I don't believe that it's possible. It's not that I don't believe spontaneous remission or like he has the ability. It's not that. It's not that I don't believe that. I don't believe, for whatever reason, it's like, but I don't believe that would happen to me. So it's not that I don't think it's not possible. I just don't think it would happen. It's weird. It's weird to kind of explain, but then I was talking about the verse, you know, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed. So I was like, here's the disconnect in my mind. I have faith that it's possible. I don't have belief that it will happen. if that makes any sense. That's kind of how my mind's working right now. So I have faith that it's possible to move that mountain, that it's totally possible. But I don't personally believe that it's going to happen. And I think you have to have this combination of the two. But anyways, that's kind of besides the point. That's kind of what we ended up talking about, because I'm just struggling with, I think when you, I don't know, it's very hard to explain how I'm emotionally processing this, because I don't even know how to answer that question myself. And then when I try to think about it in the context of my faith, I really am struggling with, I believe with all my heart that God has given us tools in nature and in food and in health and in the earth elements to heal disease and sickness and things like that. But then I also believe that he has gifted individuals and medicine and wisdom and conventional care and all these different things. So it's just hard. I'm trying to come to the middle ground with this right now. And I think that I'm really having a hard time. I'm just not like at a peace with it yet. I'm not at like a settled place with it yet. So I guess that's the best way to describe it. But I have faith. It's just interesting when you think about the difference between faith and belief. So anyways, that's kind of where our conversation went last night. And this is what's so crazy, talking about God's timing and his planning, and then how he like talks to you and all this kind of stuff. So we leave dinner after I had this literal conversation about faith and belief and the mustard seed moving mountains and all this kind of stuff. And we were at the Green for dinner, or no, we were at the Green. We went to Corner Kitchen in Dayton, and then we went to the Green to walk around and hang out a little bit more, because we actually ate dinner pretty early. And turns out there's some new stores at the Green, and there was this one new place that I hadn't been to yet. And we walk in, and this lady's like, hey, welcome. Have you ever been here before? And I said, no. She's like, well, this is a faith-based store, and blah, 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 and this is what we do, and something about, you know, missions or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And I think my mom might have told me there was a faith-based store. Anyways, we turned to the right, and there's this little wall of stuff. It's clothing store, it's home decor, all this kind of stuff. It's really cool. Hey, Mary. Hey, Lauren. And guess what? Guess, guys, after this conversation that I had with my husband about faith and belief and the mustard seed, what did I see on that shelf as soon as we turned in? This little house decor thing that said, faith can move mountains, Matthew 17:20. Trying me much? Trying me much. So I was like, honey, we just literally had this conversation at dinner. We should get this. So we did, and then we looked around, and we ended up getting this little booklet too, which I thought was super cool. It's Prayers to Share, 100 Pass-Along Notes for Joy. Slightly ironic because my middle name's Joy too, but I thought these are super cool. So what we're going to do is, we both obviously know that we have this, so we're going to keep it in the house. And we are going to tear it out when it's appropriate and share it with each other. So like this first one, it says, I asked God to plant joy and cheerfulness in your heart. God made today. Let's rejoice and be glad. Very glad. And it has like a verse and, you know, another quote and stuff. It's just super cool. And so when you're talking about like, you never know when you're going through these things, why you're going through them. One of the first things though, when quote unquote bad things happen to me, is that I always think of is like, well, what's the purpose? Like, what's the outcome? What's the intention? What am I supposed to learn from this? Because I always know I've gone through enough shiznit at this point in my life that I know, looking back, there's always a purpose. And there's always some big grand lesson that I learn, and whether it's that I can help more people because I've experienced something, or because it makes me more educated, or in the, you know, when I went through my divorce, I really learned how to love other people. That was a huge, huge lesson for me, is like learning how to love other people. So like whatever it is, but you don't know what that is like in the moment. You know, you just don't, and it's hard to kind of go through something because you're not going to be able to you have a lot of questions, and until it's done, you don't know the answer to them, and sometimes you never know the answer to them. So there's a lot of questions that I may never know the answer to, but that's kind of where we are. And I just wanted to share that story because I thought it was super cool. I mean, literally the exact conversation we had at dinner, and then I walked into that store and this little reminder was there, so we brought it home so we could place it somewhere where I will see it every day. And I was like, great, we're testing my faith. That's fun. And then these encouraging little notes as well. And then I got this book in the mail today. So a friend of mine, it's called Crazy Sexy Cancer Tips. So people have been cool, by the way, just super cool. First of all, pause for a moment. Thank you for all your prayers and your encouragement and your notes and your emails. Please keep them coming. It means a lot. It really, really does. It really, really does. And so one of my friends hooked me up with one of his friends who's also, who had lymphoma, and she's, I think, been in remission like 9 years or something. And she's like, you know what? We talked on the phone. I was able to ask her some questions about her experience. She was very encouraging. She's a naturopath now. She actually, when she got diagnosed, she wasn't very healthy, went through the process, became a naturopath. So her whole life has changed. So she's like, you know what? Somebody gave me a book when I was diagnosed, and it's amazing, and I'm going to mail it to you if that's okay. And I was like, please, yes. So it's called Crazy Sexy Cancer Tips. So I'm actually like really excited to read it. It's going to be really cool. So that's kind of what's going on. And then I feel like I was going to share something else with you today. But last night was really fun. We had a nice Valentine's Day dinner, and then today I had a house meeting. We're building our house, you guys, and that's one thing I've noticed too. Like, staying busy is really important for me. Doing things like planning for the future, and just kind of living my life as much as I can. I have been referred to an oncologist locally, but I haven't actually gotten the call to schedule with them yet. We also have scheduled an appointment with Cancer Treatment Center of America in Chicago for March 3rd through 6th. So we will be flying out to Chicago, meeting all the specialists, getting any additional tests that they need, and then flying home. And then we're also trying to set up an appointment with OSU too. So we'll have 2 or 3 opinions before we actually start treatment, because we really want to get a team that we feel very comfortable with and that we vibe with. I know when I was on the phone with my specialist, the next specialist, I was like, hey, I just want you to know, like, I really believe in nutrition, and I'm going to be using this through the process. So I don't know who you're referring me to, like, if you know her very well, but I need it to be somebody that's not going to, like, brush that off or make fun of me for my lifestyle. And I was like, I just wanted to be upfront about that. Please send me somebody that is open to that. And he's so nice, by the way. And he was like, oh no, he's like, she's a vegetarian and she works out. I'm personal friends with her and she's super nice. So I'm looking forward to meeting her. And then apparently Cancer Treatment Center of America is like super open, super accommodating, super kind, and they focus on nutrition as well. So I just want to be like supported in that, because it's such a big part of how I'm going to approach this and process it and use it as like something that I feel like I can do throughout this process to help my body. So that's kind of where I'm at. And it's 4:47, so I gotta go make my Budwig mixture. So I will talk to you guys later. But I know that, like, I have so many questions to this process, and I'm kind of figuring it out as I go. So if you guys have questions about what's going on, please just drop them below the videos, because I'll answer them. And maybe if I don't know, I'll find out soon. But I'm getting connected to a ton of different resources. And so I really appreciate it when somebody reaches out and says, hey, I know somebody who ... It really means a lot, because personal referrals, that's awesome. And I've been connected to people that had Hodgkin's, that have been through it, and that's been really encouraging. I've been connected to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and I still have to kind of follow through with that, but that's amazing. So just thank you guys so much for caring and for praying and for joining me on this journey. It just really means a lot. And yay, I went through a whole video and I didn't cry, you guys. It's a good day. All right, happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.